Caitlin Clark and JC Sheldon were getting heated during Fever vs Sun, starting off with a shove by Caitlin, and then JC hit Caitlin in the face, so Caitlin gave her another shove, and that's when she was hit to the ground. But Sophie Cunningham came in and stood up for Caitlin Clark, hitting JC Sheldon with a flagrant 2 foul. But in the post-game interview, Caitlin Clark was sick of this reporter asking about the heated moments.
Caitlin Clark has finally broken her silence after officially being named to Team USA for the 2026 FIBA World Cup. After months away from a game, what she revealed has everyone talking. Following a difficult stretch that included missing out on the 2024 Paris Olympic roster, where veterans like Diana Taurasi and an injured Chelsea Gray secured spots, Clark stepped away from the spotlight during an injury-plagued sophomore season. Now, with her official return to the international stage on the 2026 World Cup roster, Clark's first interview in months shed light on how that Olympic disappointment became the fuel behind her comeback. What exactly did she say about making the team? And how are Angel Reese, who was benched, and Aya Wilson, who didn't make the roster, responding to news? Before we dive into all the details, share your thoughts in the comments. Are you excited to see Clark represent Team USA? Let's get into it. The call came on June 8th. 2024 that Caitlin Clark was in the middle of a historic rookie season, rewriting the record books, breaking 62 WNBA records, and bringing millions of new fans to...
Caitlin, for this first, I know you and JC go way back to the Big Ten. What was going on with the Jupiters there, and what explanation were you given for the tech that you got?
I'll take the official questions. There wasn't an explanation for the tech that she got. You know, I think it was pretty obvious that stuff was brewing, right? When the officials don't get control of the ball game, when they allow that stuff to happen, and it's been happening all season long. All season long. It's not just this game, it's been happening all season long. This is what happens, right? This is what happens. You've got competitive women who are the best in the world at what they do, right? And when you allow them to play physical and you allow these things to happen, they're going to compete. And they're going to have their teammates' backs.
Women's basketball. From the outside, it felt inevitable. The conversation with USA Basketball was supposed to be a formality. Instead, it became a turning point. Clark was informed that 42-year-old veteran Diana Taurasi would take her place on the Olympic roster. The explanation was simple: experience, leadership, and a steady veteran presence. But behind the scenes, many believed it reflected something deeper: old-school thinking and internal politics that would ultimately cost Team USA more than anyone expected. What was meant to be a celebration became motivation, and that decision would change everything. Caitlin Clark's numbers told a completely different story than what USA Basketball officials seemed willing to acknowledge as a rookie. She averaged 19.2 points and 8.4 assists per game, elite production by any standard. She shattered attendance records in arena after arena, turning every road game into a sellout event. More than that, she transformed women's basketball into must.
It's exactly what you expect, right? Out of fierce competition. So, I started talking to the officials in the first quarter, and we knew this was going to happen. You could tell it was going to happen. So, they got to get control of it. They got to be better. They got to be better.
Can you specifically detail what you mean by get control of the game, just to be in your words?
Get control of the game is call the fouls that are actually happening on the floor. Right, and consistently call the fouls that are actually happening on the floor. Okay, not just if somebody swings and misses, right? Consistently call the fouls.
Coach, do you think it's something pertaining to your team, or do you think this is a league-wide issue?
Well, I've seen quite a few dust-ups in the league so far, so I think it's a league-wide issue. I mean, bad officiating is bad officiating.
And then what did you make of Sophie Cunningham's flagrant foul on JC towards the end?
It was a flagrant foul.
Watch television. Casual sports fans, people who had never tuned into a WNBA game before, suddenly scheduled their nights around watching Clark play. Her impact wasn't just statistical, it was cultural. Yet when the final Olympic roster was announced, none of it was enough. The decision makers chose legacy over momentum. They prioritized Diana Taurasi's 5 Olympic gold medals over Clark's undeniable ability to connect with an entirely new generation of fans. Fans would tune in specifically to watch her play. They selected Chelsea Gray despite her ongoing foot injury, which had sidelined her for multiple games leading up to the Olympics. The message couldn't have been clearer that Clark's explosive impact, record-breaking production, and game-changing presence were pushed aside in favor of loyalty to established veterans. Star power, cultural influence, and future growth took a back seat to tradition and long-standing relationships.
Do you think it's like defending Caitlin or defending the team, or how do you view just how it all?
I view it as a flagrant foul.
I'll ask about the game too.
Yeah, well, I mean, you guys came for basketball.
Yeah,
Let's
no,
talk
seriously.
about basketball.
Yeah.
Come on now.
What do you think of just how you all were able to pull away in the second half, Caitlin, in
We're
particular?
going to the Commissioner Cup Championship.
Let's
That's
go!
pretty exciting. Y'all want to talk about that? Let's talk about that.
What do you think, again, in the second half allowed you all to create some distance there, and what can you build on going into the Cup final?
And that decision would not be forgotten. Social media exploded the moment the roster was announced, and Caitlin Clark's name was nowhere to be found. Fans flooded timelines with side-by-side comparisons, highlighting Clark's dominance over several players who secured a spot. The numbers weren't even close in some cases. Screenshots, highlight reels, and stat graphics spread like wildfire. Within hours, hashtags demanding her inclusion began trending nationwide, and they didn't disappear quickly. For 3 straight days, the debate dominated sports conversations online. The ripple effect even hit mainstream media. Viewership for Olympic women's basketball discussions on ESPN reportedly dropped by nearly 40% once fans realized Clark wouldn't be competing in Paris. IT wasn't just disappointment. IT was outrage. Caitlin Clark didn't ignore.
I thought we were physical on defense. I think that's where we lacked in the first half. I think the first half we had moments where we're up 10, we're up 8, we're up 12, and we continue to just let them back in the game. And I think, prior to maybe the second half where we finally got our foot on the gas, that's kind of where we have struggled all season long, is we continue to get these leads, these 8-point leads, these 6-point leads, these 10-point leads, and we just let teams back in the game, and with bad shots, turnovers, whatever it is. So I think it's just, we kind of got over the hump there, and then we're able to grow our lead in the fourth quarter. They even cut it to 10 in the fourth quarter, and I thought we really responded well, and we're able to open it up for a pretty comfortable win.
The noise, she absorbed it. She heard every critic who claimed she wasn't ready for international competition. She saw every social media debate questioning whether USA basketball had lost touch with what fans actually want to see. The rejection stung even more because it came on the heels of a season that had completely transformed the sport's visibility. In just 1 year, Clark had shifted the national conversation around women's basketball, drawing record audiences, selling out arenas, and redefining what was possible. Behind closed doors, however, the decision reflected something deeper. It echoed the same institutional mindset that kept women's basketball boxed into a niche corner for decades.
Angel, I just wanted to start with that technical foul. Could you kind of walk us through what the explanation was that you got from the referees and just your perspective on it?
Yeah, he said that it was either going to be a tech or a flagrant, and I didn't know how that's determined. And he said it was too late to put it as a flagrant, and I was like, why didn't you let us make that decision? Knowing that I have already 7 technicals in the next one, I would have to see the next game. So I think we're going to go back and talk to the league about it, but he said it was too late, so
Decades. Rather than fully embrace the seismic cultural shift Clark represented, USA basketball chose stability. They prioritized locker room harmony and loyalty to establish veterans over the explosive growth, relevance, and mainstream attention Clark was bringing to the game, and that choice would become fuel. That rejection didn't just create disappointment. IT planted something far more dangerous: purpose. For Caitlin Clark, the Olympic snub became fuel. It sharpened her focus and ignited a quiet determination to prove that USA basketball had made one of the biggest miscalculations in the program's history. While the spotlight shifted elsewhere, Clark went to work. Every workout, every rehab session, every film study. She was building towards something bigger. A comeback so undeniable that it would force the decision makers to confront what they had overlooked. Her sophomore season would test her resilience in ways no one could have predicted. Injuries, pressure, expectations, all of it intensified. But the foundation had already been laid. The rejection wasn't the end of her story. IT was the beginning of her response. The first setback came in early.
Just one follow up on that. You lead the league in technical fouls called this year. Do you feel like that's fair? And just kind of what is your outlook on that when you kind of approach games?
We'll go to this.
28 points in the first quarter. Just what did you guys think was working out well for you guys on offense?
We did a good job playing inside out. We started out in the middle. She started out really hot early. And I think our defense kind of led to our offense. I mean, shout out to all the guards that guarded me for tonight. And being able to hold her from 0-8 tonight. So shout out to our guards tonight for really like blocking in and like being able to play her really hard because they did a really good job on it.
And then I had a follow-up for you, Rachel, and you second place now all-time franchise leader, 3-pointers. Just want to get your thoughts on passing out alley-oop.
August, during what should have been a routine practice drill, Caitlin Clark felt a sharp, unfamiliar pull in her groin. She stopped immediately. She knew. The MRI confirmed her fears, a grade 2 strain. Weeks on the sideline, just as she was trying to respond to the Olympic rejection, her body pushed back. The timing couldn't have been worse. 3 weeks into rehab. Another problem surfaced. Because she had been compensating to protect the groin, strain began building in her left quad. What started as tightness quickly turned into a recurring